What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I wanted to talk about being overwhelmed and being very stressed out and how to manage and handle that. There's a million different things you could do to go about this. These are the things that work for me, at least. This is actually in no order. I just wanted to put that out there. So yeah, let's get into it. The first thing that I wanted to address is how important planning, strategizing, prioritizing your tasks are. One thing that you can do is make a list of everything you have to do, either from easiest to hardest or most urgent to least urgent. That way you know, okay, I gotta get this done on this date, I gotta get this assignment done at that point, I gotta get that project done at that time, I gotta clean my room at this time. At least you know that you're gonna get it done, first of all, and at least you know when you're gonna get it done, how you're gonna get it done. Obviously, do not overwhelm yourself, because the whole point of this thing is to not be overwhelmed. Limit your tasks to at least a certain amount per day. That way you know how much you can do in a certain amount of time. Plan ahead, of course, but don't plan too far ahead to the point where you're so caught up in the mess of whatever you got going on. It's very easy to get blown away by all that you have to do. One thing it can also do is establish momentum. I'm a firm believer in momentum and how it can definitely change your workflow, and you get to keep it pushing when you have momentum. Because let's say you start this little task of, I don't know, doing dishes, and then you go and fold your clothes, and then you go and do that assignment, and then you go and do that project that took you a month to do. You know what I mean? So you start with that little thing, and then it kind of drives you to do more because you're in that flow of like, okay, I gotta get this done. Oh, I just got that done. That was so easy. Let me do that now. Momentum definitely helps your plan. The second thing that I wanted to address is cleaning and decluttering, whether that would be physical decluttering, like minimizing your workspace, minimizing your material things, minimizing anything physical, and also digitally too. Digital decluttering is so important in every way, and it goes overlooked many times. Emptying out your emails that you have 562,000 emails sitting in your email box. Like, why is that? Come on, bro. Like, that's one thing I cannot do. I can't have more than 50 emails at a time. Even 50 emails to me is like, whew, sheesh, I cannot do that. I try to make sure that all of my emails are read. I try to make sure that all my text messages are sent, replied, whatever. Speaking of which, I actually have a song called Didn't Reply that I released a couple weeks ago. If you want to check that out, it's pretty good, just saying. But digital decluttering is definitely something that you can do to subconsciously relieve stress, because when you see all those notifications, all those red dots, I'm sure that it's not having a positive effect on your mental, because it doesn't have it for me either. Also, it keeps you organized, it keeps you clean, it keeps you focused on the things that you have at hand rather than all those things that are picking at you, you know what I mean, from side to side. The third thing that you can do is create a routine. Routines are very situational. I'm not gonna have the same routine as the next person. You're always gonna have your set routine that works for you. What works for me is different, but creating a routine nonetheless is very important. It doesn't have to be a strict routine. It doesn't have to be like, okay, I'm gonna wake up at 7:32 in the morning, and then I'm gonna shower at 7:36, and then I'm gonna brush my teeth at 7:45, and then I'm gonna da 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 da. It doesn't have to be that way. If people do that, that's fine. They got their side. I know I can't do that. I'm pretty much so set in my routine where I'll wake up at a time without an alarm, and I'll just go throughout my tasks. And not to keep them too mundane is a very important thing also, because having a mundane lifestyle is very, very, very harmful to your time, because when you do the same things every day, time goes by faster. You don't realize that it's been 2 weeks, and you just now realize that it's April. Like, it seemed like just yesterday was January, but that's because my life is becoming like that, where it's so like every day it's just the same thing when it comes to work, at least. And it has me like, I need to switch it up. I'm not the kind of person to be stagnant and complacent, so I gotta switch up the flow. But that means changing your routine. I'm gonna do things a little bit differently. I'm gonna have a different workflow. I'm gonna have a different hobby. That's another thing, which is getting into the next part. Take a break from life, whether it be through a hobby or just literally doing absolutely nothing. Not sitting in your bed all day and scrolling through TikTok, because that is not the way to do it. I do it all the time. There's this dude that's always like, wait a minute, you've been scrolling a long time. Why don't you take a break? And I'm just like, yo, fuck you, like making me feel like shit. I hate that. I hate that shit, man. But taking a break is definitely something that you can do to improve your quality of life. take a drive, go get something to eat, go for a run, do something that doesn't require a task, because you gotta let your mind cool off sometimes. You gotta let your body take a break from real life. The last thing, honestly, is to just enjoy the ride. Even though that you're in a time of an overwhelming feeling is just always on you, enjoy that, embrace it. Don't let the pressure get to you. Side note, I also got a song called Pressure, just saying. It's actually pretty fire too. If you want to check that out. You know, we stay promoting ourselves out here, man. Biggest fan right here. Be your own biggest fan. I didn't even mean to bring that up, but yes, be your own biggest fan. But yeah, don't let the pressure consume you, consume it. Keep your eye on the prize. Don't lose focus in what you have planned. It's very easy to lose sight of what you really want to do when you're just doing those little tasks that obviously there's a bigger picture that you want to accomplish a lot of things. Obviously focus on those tasks at the time, but remember that there's a bigger motive to what you're doing, and that should be motivation enough to grind under that kind of pressure so you can get past what you're going through. Obviously, being in that space of feeling overwhelmed and being very stressed out is hard. It's not an easy thing. But when you look back at it, when you're in a place that you only got to because of how hard you worked while you were so stressed out, you get to breathe, you get to enjoy your life, you get to look back and think, wow, I came that far, I was in that place and now I'm here. Quick little anecdote for me is that from March 2020 to September 2020 was probably the least active however many months of my life because of the illness, if you want to call it that. But then September, when September came, man, it was the craziest time of my life, but the best time of my life. Those 4 months from from July to September was my break, was my, okay, reset everything, don't think about anything, focus on yourself, just do you, and then get back to it. But from September to December of 2020, it was the craziest 4 months of my life. There was non-stop movement, there was always working, there was always schoolwork, there was always something to do, and it was never a bad thing. It was obviously a chore. It was obviously like, oh, I gotta do this. I like, you get to roll up out of bed in the morning and say to yourself like, oh, I gotta get this done, that done. But then January comes around and I'm like, you know what, not doing that shit. Switch it up, switch up the flow, switch up the routine. I'm gonna relax, I'm gonna chill. I had that motive in July. On July 1st 2020, I was like, all right, these next 6 months are about to be the best 6 months of my life, and I blew that shit out of the water. I said, nah, I'm not doing that whole life thing that I was doing before. And when I got to that point, it was the craziest thing. I'll always look back at that time like, wow, that was it. That was not my peak, because obviously I'm gonna reach a higher peak in the future, but at that time I was at my best. I was living my best life, if you want to call it that. I had a great time through that moment, through the break and through the work part. When I had my time to enjoy it, I enjoyed it. When I had my time to work, I tried to enjoy it the best I could, but I just worked, I grinded, and the results from that were astronomical compared to where I could be. And that's also what you got to look at, is throughout those times of stress and pressure, you got to realize that when you get past that shit, ooh, man, it is gonna be beautiful. I'm telling you. I hate saying this, it's so cliche, but do not give up. That is the number one thing. You just stick through it and you'll thank yourself later. That's another thing. Do things for your future self, because your future self will thank you later. You're gonna be like, damn, James, like, good shit. Good shit. Because it is very easy to just think about the moment, to get lazy and say, nah, I'm so stressed out, I'm so overwhelmed, I'm just not gonna do anything. But if you just get that shit done, move it behind you, the future you will thank you. That's about it. That's all I have for now. Maybe I'll make another video in the future, but as far as right now, those are the top things that I can think of that will improve your stress level, make you feel less overwhelmed by strategizing, prioritizing, planning, relaxing, using momentum to your advantage, developing a routine, staying organized, minimizing, decluttering. All of those things will help you regardless, whether it be a short-term result or a long-term result. There's gonna be some sort of result, just know that. But yeah, that's all I really have for now. It is 1:30 in the morning and I got work at 9. I'm gonna be up till about 6 editing this video. I know that for a fact because I'm just so OCD. That's another thing. Don't get too caught up in one task. Just do it, move past it. Don't get too caught up in it, because you'll be going down a wormhole. All right, I'm done. I'm out of here. Peace. I just had a thought. Just imagine that whole time I wasn't recording. I'm new to this YouTube thing, and I'm sure that like people go through that. I will be so pissed if that was the case, and I know that that's gonna happen. Just praying that it doesn't. I just had that thought. Just had to put that out there.